She's an accomplished author. She's a fourth-generation fisherwoman. She comes from a shrimping community and has done amazing, amazing work. And Diane, come on up and tell us a few stories and inspire us to keep on the good fight.
I've been on a hunger strike for 2 weeks, and my energy went through the floor. My story started, and I'm 75. It started when I was 40. I was working at a fish house, and I had this shrimper had 3 different types of cancer, and he pitched a newspaper article at me, and he said, "What do you think of this?" And my tiny county, which is probably around 16,000 people, we were #1 in the nation, and it literally blew my mind. I just went down to City Hall and said, "I want to have a meeting about this article." And so they just wrote it down, and I didn't know what I was going to say, but I was going to have a meeting. And the next day, the city secretary came down there to the fish house, and she said, "Oh, Diane, you can't do this meeting." And then the next day, I had the bank president I had never talked to in a 3-piece suit come down to a messy, stinky old fish house and said, he walked out the docks and he said, "Diane, are you starting a vigilante group fixing to roast the industry alive?" So when I finally had my little meeting, I just said I was going to look at Formosa stew, and that's when it all hit the fan. Formosa is home-based in Taiwan. They are so bad at pollution. The people over there literally threw rocks at them. And so it was like Chairman Wong at that time, he was like, well, so he was going to come to Texas or Louisiana, whichever gave him the most. And Texas gave him every single thing he wanted. When in Texas, when you try to find a permit, when you try to get people to stand up with you, when you try to talk to your local officials, but they have permits with the company, when you talk to state legislators and they have permits and they okay the permit. I am not an organized person. I have no experience. I didn't know anything. I was ground zero, and I had a very hard learning curve. And I remember a real savvy environmentalist from Houston, and he's like, just let yourself know you did good, but you're at the end of the parade. I just said, no, I think I'm going to do a hunger strike. And he just died laughing. He said, Diane, people in Texas don't do hunger strikes. The only ones who knew I was on the hunger strike was Formosa. And the reason why they were so nervous about the hunger strike is they cannot control it. And I got exactly what I wanted in 2 weeks. Exactly what I wanted. And it made me realize the power in civil disobedience. And so for 2.5 years, we collected 2,500 samples, took 8,000 videos, photographs, and it just so happened a legal aid group that was in Brownsville with the migrant workers, they moved up, and we hired them. And so we did a citizen suit, and we won it. We got to put into every environmental project in our county. And then we got zero discharge of plastic, meaning Formosa cannot discharge any plastic. And that plant has got to turn to zero discharge of plastic. And we have been to Taiwan to their shareholders meeting and did a lot of speaking there. And we did briefings in Washington, D.C., and now we are doing a global hunger strike. And I'm sitting on an extended hunger strike right in the ditch in front of Formosa.
What is the end goal?
I have seen the devastation that Formosa does. I've seen it in Taiwan. I've learned a lot in 40 years, 35. Yeah, I'm not that old, 35 years. And I've been looking for ways to just help bring down the era of plastic. I think it has to end.